Now, how often does someone say something that you're like, I don't really think you should say that?
All the time.
And how do you balance that? Because on the one hand, they are coming up on their free will, talking to you, exposing something. But on the other hand, I see some of these people on TikTok where I'm
Yeah.
like, you are smashed drunk,
Oh, yeah.
admitting to like cheating on your husband and
Yeah,
having
shit's
like
horrible.
fivesomes, and you're bragging about this with your girlfriends. There's no way that's a good idea.
I mean, I don't do shit like that anymore, but it's sad because I know that I sort of created the party strip interview model, and that's the thing that I'm most ashamed about. I was in Scottsdale the other day just visiting some friends, Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah.
And I'm walking on this party strip where there's like shit-faced college kids walking down the street, you know what I mean, yelling. They don't know what they're doing. They're just kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have 4 man on the street, dead sober interviewers asking everybody, what's your body count? What's the freakiest shit you ever done? Have you ever cheated on your girl? Can y'all trade phones? This shit where I'm like, bro, that's up. There should be some kind of like penalty for that. Like, you're creating a digital footprint for these people that's going to up their career and trajectory. Why would you want to do something like that? For me in Quarter Confessions, this is New Orleans, bro. Like, that's a place where anything goes. Like, most of the people in Quarter Confessions, they're just New Orleans ass people who, like, they're already an open book, man. They're down there. But you got these college kids who are going to go on to like live corporate lives and work in the white collar industry. They might lose their job 10 years from now.
Yeah, I don't think people realize just the severity of that. I think it will eventually be an issue when someone loses their job, someone like has, something terrible happens.
Yeah.
Because they were inebriated, couldn't necessarily consent to like having their interview out there in that capacity. I think it's going to hit a sticking point at some level.
Yeah. Well, it technically actually is illegal. It all goes back to a court case with Girls Gone Wild in like the late 90s.
Yeah.
They filmed some girls in Daytona Beach, Florida, who flashed the camera, and they did sign, release forms, but they actually won like millions in court saying that release forms past a certain level of inebriation are actually void. So technically, all these body count people, even like the Hawk Tua girl, she could sue that dude if she can prove that her blood alcohol content was in public.
Well, I have a feeling at some point they're going to have to do a breathalyzer on camera and be like, if you're under 0.08, we could interview you. If you're above that, like, we can't use the footage.
Imagine you're a kid, right? You're a kid 30 years from now, right? And you're like, we're young. We got to see pictures of our parents, like through, cute pictures of them, our parents at their wedding and shit. These kids are going to have videos of their mom and dad talking about like eating ass. You know what I mean? I mean, that's not cool.
How did you come up with the idea? Did you see that working?
No, I saw it was the show Taxi Cab Confessions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just interesting how it's past a certain hour. If you have genuine conversations, you get a sort of window into the soul. And there was a lot of genuine conversations in Quarter Confessions. You know what I mean? Conversations about heartbreak, life, loss, all that stuff did happen. It wasn't just incest confessions. But even so, it was more in jest, even when it was incest. Because it's the South. People are just having fun.
How often does someone say something to you where you can't air it?
All the time.
And do you not?
I don't air it. No.
And where do you draw the line?
I'm trying to think what's the last thing that somebody said that I couldn't air. I haven't really sought out people who are like in a party environment in probably like 4 years. I'm trying to think what's the last party video that I did. Oh, I did Hemingway Days in Key West, and there was just old guys saying weird shit, and I was like, I'm not going to put this in.
How much do you cut out though, where it's for the benefit of the person?
Oh, always.
You're making that
it's
judgment
never
call
for me.
yourself.
Yeah, if you're a reasonable, level-headed person, you know when to cut somebody off. Unless you're just trying to ruin their life, which some people look at as good content.
I feel like people just don't go out expecting that they could potentially, like the Hawk Tua girl, like become a national meme, especially in a bad way.
I'm going to push back on this in a way. I mean, I agree with you. I'd prefer not to be randomly filmed. But if you are in public, there is no privacy. I don't think there's any room for privacy if you were in public doing something.
But it's different with the digital age versus just like being in public where like stuff won't spread to like hundreds of millions of people.
It's also like public privacy is not, in terms of surveillance, on every street corner there is a camera filming you. But on every street corner there's not a guy being like, would you rather eat ass or suck toes? Would you have a homeless dude or let someone run train on your mom? You know what I mean? Like that shit is like, it's horrible. Like I remember, the Scottsdale thing. It's almost like dudes with no game. That's kind of what they do.
I could see that. But I do think that there's a level where if you are in a public space, you have to present yourself in a way where you wouldn't want to be embarrassed.
That's
true. And sure, you could be accosted by a guy coming, yo, would you eat ass? Would you? Yeah, but if you don't give the reaction.
But no one is going to go out in public with that consideration until we have like thousands of people on one street, like trying to interview. It's like, okay, well, I'm just not even, you know what I mean?
Also, dude, like I've been drunk and embarrassed myself in public. I've thrown up, I've fallen down. I've almost gotten into a fight a couple times when I was in college. You know what I mean? I embarrassed myself enough with like there being 30 people around me. And we have such an extreme like shame and guilt culture in America that like if all of a sudden removed from that environment, you have 100,000 people being like, damn, that girl's a hoe, or like, damn, that dude's a bitch. You know what I mean? That's a whole different level because you have people who don't even go out. You have like puritanical people who see anyone drinking and are like, oh, you're a piece of shit.